I never intended to join the diplomatic exchange program. I was a mechanic from Earth's outer colonies, more comfortable with engine grease than alien politics. But fate, or maybe bad paperwork, threw me onto the starship Viralis, home of the Etherin. Tall, elegant beings with bioluminescent skin, blade-like ears, and senses sharp enough to shame a wolf. They weren't hostile, but they weren't exactly comfortable around humans either. We were the unpredictable newcomers to galactic society. Emotionally volatile, dangerously creative, their files described us. Which, honestly, wasn't wrong. I had been on the ship barely 2 days when I first saw her. Captain Siraxa, 7 feet tall, silver blue skin that shimmered like moonlit water, eyes like vertical cut obsidian. She moved with the grace of someone who had spent her entire life being obeyed. Every Etherin stepped aside when she passed. I tried not to stare. Well, I thought I wasn't staring. Her eyes flicked toward me for half a second. I froze, feeling my brain short-circuit. Don't embarrass yourself, Jacob, I thought desperately. Just fix the communication relays and don't get murdered by the 7-foot goddess. But my mind wasn't cooperating. A ridiculous, stupid, absolutely suicidal thought crossed my head. She's beautiful in a terrifying, probably could kill me way. I didn't say it. I didn't even breathe it. I only thought it. Yet the moment the thought formed, Sirax's ears twitched, just barely, and she turned her head a fraction. Her voice was quiet, smooth, dangerous. Careful, human, she whispered, without looking directly at me. I hear everything. My heart dropped into my stomach so fast I felt lightheaded. She can hear thoughts? Impossible. They don't have telepathy. Right? But she didn't elaborate. She simply turned, gave a single order to her officers, and walked away like she hadn't just shattered my understanding of privacy. I stood there frozen, tools in hand, questioning reality. The middle, tension rises. I avoided her for the next 3 days. Or, at least I tried to. The problem was that the captain seemed to appear everywhere I worked, silently, unexpectedly, and always at the worst possible moment. The first time, I was under a console, tightening bolts, mentally complaining about Etherin engineering. Who puts a live power conduit next to a coolant vent? Who designed this thing? A shadow fell over me. I slid out from under the console and found her standing there. Is something wrong with our systems, human? She asked, tone neutral. I swallowed. And no, Captain. Just thinking. Her eyes pierced mine, unblinking. Yes, she said. You do that often. She walked away while I tried not to faint. The second time, I passed her in a corridor and my brain, traitorous as always, thought. She moves like a panther. She paused mid-step, just enough for me to notice, before continuing without a word. The third time, I was eating at the mess hall when she entered. Every officer stood. I kept my eyes on my tray. Don't think anything. Stop thinking right now. Think of a wall. A brick wall. With mortar. Perfectly blank. Her voice slid into my ear as she passed behind me. Brick walls don't help, Jacob. I almost choked on my food. By the end of the week, I was convinced one of 2 things was true. She really could hear thoughts. Or I was the unluckiest, most transparent human in the galaxy. Either way, my dignity was in shambles. The shift, An unexpected confession. Everything changed the night the Viralis detected a distress signal near the nebula trine. An Ethran research pod had been attacked by raiders, vicious creatures called the Jakor. Scavengers. Murderers. They didn't take prisoners. Except this time they had. The pod's life signs showed one survivor. Saraxa didn't hesitate. She assembled an away team. I expected to stay behind. I was a mechanic, not a soldier. But she singled me out. "You're coming with us." "Me?" I sputtered. "I don't even carry a weapon." She tilted her head, examining me too closely. "You have something better," she said. Instinct. That was the first time she'd ever complimented me. It confused me so badly that I didn't protest further. We boarded a shuttle, descending into the fog of the nebula where the raider ship lurked like a wounded beast. The atmosphere inside the shuttle was tight with tension. The Ethran warriors gripped their crystalline rifles. Their bioluminescent markings pulsed with combat readiness. Saraxa stood at the front, one hand clasped behind her back, the other holding a gleaming spear-like weapon. She radiated calm. I radiated absolute panic. When we were close enough, the shuttle clamped onto the raider hull. The doors hissed open into darkness. Saraxa motioned for silence. We moved through narrow corridors littered with debris. Metal creaked. Distant growls echoed. Then we saw her, the captured Ethran scientist, injured, tied to a railing, and the Jakor guarding her. 8 feet tall, muscles like cables, teeth like knives. One of them turned toward us and roared so loudly my vision blurred. Saraxa didn't flinch. Her warriors opened fire. Crystal shots ricocheted, lighting the hall with flashes of blue. The raiders surged forward. Saraxa lunged. Her movements blurred, fluid, lethal. She carved through the first raider with inhuman precision, pivoted, and drove her spear into the second. But a third one slipped past her. It came straight for me. My instinct screamed. I ducked, grabbed the nearest object, a fallen metal pipe, and swung with everything I had. It connected with a sickening crack. The raider collapsed. I stood there shaking, pipe trembling in my hands. Saraxa appeared beside me like a phantom. Her obsidian eyes scanned my face. "You acted before fear stopped you," she said, voice low. "Good." I blinked. "I think I almost died." "Yes," she said simply. "But you didn't." She turned away, but not before I caught the faintest flicker of something I had never seen on her face. Pride. The truth, what she really heard. When we returned to the Viralis, Saraxa dismissed her warriors but motioned for me to follow her. We ended up on a quiet observation deck overlooking the swirling blue of the nebula. The room hummed softly with energy, starlight casting long shadows. She stood with her back to me. "Human," she said, "you have been unsettled around me." "That's one word for it," I muttered before I could stop myself. To my surprise, she actually chuckled. A low, soft sound. I did not mean to cause distress. I frowned. "Captain, can you really hear thoughts?" She turned, expression unreadable. "No, that is impossible. But your emotions are loud. Humans project feelings like storms. And I am very attuned to storms." My face grew hot. "So, you could sense whenever I thought something embarrassing?" She stepped closer. "Not words," she said. "Just intent. Curiosity. Admiration. Fear. Wonder." She paused. "Especially admiration." My soul nearly evacuated my body. She moved even closer, lowering her voice. "I never intended to embarrass you, Jacob. I simply noticed you noticed me." I swallowed hard. "Sorry. I didn't want to make things awkward." Her eyes softened. "Something I didn't know was possible. It is not awkward. Among my people, being noticed by someone genuine is an honor." I laughed nervously. Humans don't usually honor people by panicking in their presence. She tilted her head. I found it endearing. That stunned me silent. The end, a new understanding. She stepped beside me, looking out at the stars. "You fought bravely today," she said. "With heart, not training." I was terrified. "Courage is not the absence of fear," she said softly. "It is action despite it." We stood quietly for a moment. Then, unexpectedly, she added, "And I am glad you think highly of me." I nearly tripped on air. I do. Very highly." She gave me a rare, genuine smile, something like starlight breaking through storm clouds. "Good," she whispered. "Then perhaps you will not fear me anymore." I exhaled slowly. "I'll try." She leaned slightly closer. "And Jacob?" "Yes." Her voice was a velvet warning. "Careful what you think." I stared. She grinned. "I cannot hear your thoughts, but your face says everything." I groaned. She laughed, a sound both bright and ancient, and the tension between us finally eased. For the first time since boarding the Viralis, I wasn't afraid. I was intrigued, and maybe just a little hopeful.